am back with a new video. Today I want to share my experience primarying for the first time. Oh my gosh, it was so scary. Before we get into all of that, I just want to quickly talk about what the clinic requirements are at our program. So basically, when you're a first year, you are thrown into the clinic, but you're not necessarily seeing patients, you are just there observing. I forget how many hours it is off the top of my head, but I think your first year you have to complete only 20 hours of observation. All you do is just sit there like a little fly on the wall. Don't really speak, you're just watching what's going on around you. And then when you become a second year, you're doing the same thing, but you need to finish 40 hours total by the end of your second year. Before you can be a student clinician seeing patients, you need to pass what they call the clinic entry exam. They have an actor or actress, and you are given a case. So you kind of do know what to expect before you go in, because they give you a list of possible chief concerns for cases. I think my case was a female, somewhere between ages 20 to 30, who came in with, I think it was urinary tract infection. I don't remember the details. First you do a patient intake, and once you have all that information, you come up with possible differential diagnosis, and then you can request certain labs or imaging to confirm your diagnosis. After you're done seeing the acting patient, then they bring you to a room and you chart everything. It was pretty terrifying, but I survived and I passed. And anyone can do it. You know, I did hear stories from the upperclassmen that they actually had to primary in some cases when they became a third years too. And of course, it's all a learning experience, and it's better that we perform poorly, I guess you could say, in this clinic where it's a teaching environment versus when we're out in the real world. I was on shift this quarter, this is fall quarter. I was kind of I don't know if I want to say thrown in, because I was kind of open to being primary, but everyone was pretty encouraging, you know, and I don't know how it happened. It just happened. I just somehow ended up with this patient, and luckily I had prepared before clinic. I try to usually prepare. My shift is Mondays 5 to 9, so I have a week to prepare beforehand. You know, I've been on shift before, and usually I'm a secondary, which just assists the primary student clinician handling the case. I have had those moments where I would be a secondary and I'd think to myself, you know, I can handle this. This doesn't seem that bad. But when it was actually my turn to be primary, I was freaking out on the inside. I was like, I can't do this. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm afraid I'm gonna offend the patient. What if I say something wrong? What if she's not nice? You know, all these thoughts were running through my head. And I finally just had to be like, Marilyn, take a deep breath. It's gonna be okay. You can do this. I've been preparing and waiting 2 years since I came to Best Year to start seeing patients and to help them. What's interesting about my first time being primary is that usually there's just 2 student clinicians in with the patient, and then the supervisor will come in. This time it was 4 student clinicians in with the patient, including myself. Of course, we did ask the patient permission and if she felt comfortable with that many people being in the room, and she said yes. But you know, I think I was more nervous because of how many people were in that room than the patient was. Charts are due within 24 hours from the time you saw the patient. So my first chart took me 4 hours, and I was like, it really wore me out. But the second time around, I managed to do it in 30 minutes. Definitely an improvement. I think the more that I'm exposed to charting, the better I'm gonna get. And I know that. And that's with everything that I'm going to experience at Best Year. The more I see patients, the more comfortable I'm going to become assessing and diagnosing and treating patients under a licensed supervisor. Backtrack a little. So before you go see a patient as a primary, you do a preview in the preview room with the supervisor and your fellow student clinicians. After you see the patient, you do a review, which is basically going over how the patient was doing that day and what treatment protocol you gave them for that visit. You know, I have seen a lot of previews and reviews, and I still could not think of what to say when it was my turn. You know, I get really bad public speaking anxiety, and even though there was only 7 of us in the room, I was still really nervous because I didn't know what to say or how to word it, and I tried listening to all the 4th years go before me, and when it got to my turn, I was just my mind blanked. I didn't know what to say, and I looked at the supervisor with deer in headlights look, and I was like, what do I say? I felt terrible for my first time being like that. I'm the type of person who likes things to run smoothly, and it was not smooth at all. I just kept saying la and thinking in my head of what to say, It was awkward because everyone was looking at me, but I survived. I actually just saw the patient the other day for the second time, and she was doing so much better. It's really cool when you are with a patient and they come back for a follow-up and you see how better the patient is doing the second time. It's the greatest feeling. If you're interested in more videos about naturopathic medicine, please subscribe below. Yes, give me some love. I'll see you guys soon.